The following video concerns the subject of medical misinformation and is not attempting to cause medical misinformation. The following video is trying to assist you in being able to prevent yourself from being a victim of said medical misinformation. And this affects experts as well as laymen. I'm just going to read basically a blurb most of you already read. I'm reading it in a more neutral way to get rid of the push to make you think a certain thing. Obviously, I want you to think a certain thing because I'm a human and I want people to be convinced of what I feel is real, but that's not the point of the video, so I'm going to try to neutralize this as much as needed. And then I'm going to give an opinion, and more importantly, I'm going to tell you what you're probably lied to about. In 2017, a virus was, and these are the words used, isolated, discovered, found, whatever. And when people discuss this on the internet, they don't tell you the details that are needed and how to interpret them. You're telling us how to think. No, because technical language is being used and people who should know better are trying to interpret it as if they know what it means. You're not an expert in it unless you already are. And if you were, you wouldn't be watching this video. Welcome to YouTuber Science. This is a 2-year-old 2004, early 2004 study. It's about 2 years old almost exactly. That was published. The authors wrote in it a set of quotes that keep getting reused and thrown about and used as a blunt instrument. The virus adapted to cell culture. That's an almost direct quote. This was originally in a different language. That's clue number 1. Number 2, this keeps getting repeated almost like somebody cut and pasted. Number 3, adapted to cell culture is another way of saying they were able to get the virus to be in a petri dish with some cells in it, and the virus was able to attack the cells, so they confirm that the virus was actually able to infect any cells. You get a whole group of these things. Actually, they're little tiny containers these days, not petri dishes. And you put the virus into them with hundreds of different cell lines from hundreds of different animals of concern, including humans, just in case it might attack a human in some possible way, even a way that couldn't really happen in reality. That's a hint. And it was able to adapt to cell culture. They didn't say A or 4 or human. They said cell culture. And when tested, it could infect lungs, bones, eyes, trachea, and brain. Or more accurately, lungs and throat, eyes and brain, and the skeleton of one species of life form on the planet that it wasn't originally found in. It was found in an animal so rare it's only found in a lab. It's a type of mouse that has been altered to have copies of human characteristics in it to form a specific thing. These are transgenic or humanized mice, as it is sometimes called, that have the human hACE2 coding added to them. And it will express itself where it's supposed to be, let's say the lung or throat, but it'll also express itself in the brain or other places where maybe it wouldn't be able to be a problem, or the skeleton, or the bone marrow. Because it doesn't belong in a mouse, it's going to be going everywhere. In 8 days, or a little over a week, all 4, yes, small sample size alert, 4 mice died, and this was 2024 study. Where's the update? Well, there is an update, but we don't see the original study anymore. Or we do. A comment in it, this unique model for understanding pathogenic mechanisms, or some wording like that. Now, what are the information that's in the article about it that is stated that people don't tell you about? It was not crafted, created, descended, mutated, or Frankensteined, or genetically engineered from something else. Yeah, but I know you watched Fox News or an actual professional who keeps doing this thing of not reading fully, or maybe he does, but he doesn't believe what he's reading because it came out of a particular country. It's not anything like that. It was lab tested and is being stored at that lab. There is no mention of a spillover event. It's not a mutation of any kind from something else to something else that was done on purpose by anybody, and it may not even be a mutation that happened in a lab. It is a mutation that most likely happened in the animal it came from. This coronavirus, yes, that's a word that'll get you flagged on YouTube, even though they say they're not doing it anymore. They are. Was and is a flu virus for a pangolin. It's pangolin flu. You're at 5 minutes and you've been educated on what it actually is. This is the statement by the thing. The first and second version, I can't find the first version. Well, it was redacted or something. I know. What were you told, and how recent is that news? And was it somebody talking to you about it? And does it list the 2024 January 3rd or other date? Is there another backup copy? Are these on websites that you have to pay to get into? Dear researchers, stop putting your copywritten articles only on places that charge us money and fuck with us when we're trying to read it, and won't let us archive it or back it up so that we can catch people out when they're lying or just prevent information from dying. This pangolin flu has 104 nucleotide deletions at the end of its RNA, ribonucleic acid string, and that end is called the 3-UTR. And since it's typed as GX P for pangolin, 2V, V for virus, I'm assuming, but I don't know. And it also has the word short _ 3-UTR because the UTR, the third UTR, is shorter. It's named GX P2V or some variant, and or short 3-UTR. Compared to what? It's short. Compared to the next flu virus for pangolin. Right? Humanized or transgenic mice have an alteration that has them carry hACE2 from humans, and this is called the hACE or hACE2. Now we're at 7 minutes and 12 seconds here. We have pangolin GX P2V virus that has 104 nucleotides shortened and is also known as from its 3-UTR RNA, so that's part of its name. And in 8 days, it could cause the death in all four of a very small sample size of an animal that literally doesn't exist in nature in a lab. And it affected not just the lungs and throat, but it attacked the skeleton, or some of the skeleton, the eye and brain of mice. What does this have to do with you? And more importantly, what does this have to do with it being on the political side of the internet, news channels and websites that talk about the gold standard, and people who are, if you wait long enough or look back in their past, constantly bring up end times, Jesus is coming, get your look busy, this kind of rhetoric. Okay, now I'm going to talk to the people out there who used to call me names and you're an asshole, blah, 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 you don't like Trump. The Trump administration has proven literally every liberal and every, I'm going to say it, tinfoil hat liberal's opinion of the Republican Party having at least some of them, I'm calling it some, I don't think it's a majority yet, of their entire population of Republican hegemony or cabal, or the Balloonati as I call them, the upper echelon people in the Republican Party, the dark forces pulling the strings, the puppet masters, as you call them, all you conspiracy theorists, were in the Republican Party turning it into a monster. Because every single thing the administration we have now is doing, without saying it's fake news, proves it. What has that got to do with this? Nothing. So why are you looking it up on politically motivated channels? This is either is or is not a 2017 virus from a pangolin that has somehow been altered in a lab, because the lab leak theory, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, which just means weaponized viruses, failed to kill us all, failed to be controllable, so it's worthless as a weapon, so it never was, and that was a bullshit story, and you're going to have to live with it. The lab leak theory was bullshit. One of the many virus sources, reservoirs, that could mutate together, I'll explain that in a second, in animals in Wuhan was a pangolin. Another one was a bat. If they're in close proximity, the disease spreads by them sneezing or coughing it up or pooping or pissing or whatever, or even sloughing off their skin. A virus infects a cell. It doesn't care what cell as long as it can get in. And if two of them are able to get into a cell in an animal, the lung tissue is different than your skin on the outside of your body, and the fur on your back if you're like me. Every cell in your body can act as a gene splicer if two viruses attack it at the same time. A lot of you were not told that in school. I was told that a long time ago, and I was born in 1968, while learning about this. And you know what was being cited? The pandemic. The Spanish flu, because where it started was in Kansas or Nebraska or whatever, in a bunch of farms that were feeding GIs, and because they were told to bring up production, they stopped keeping the animals separated from each other, so a disease that might attack a pig or a chicken started cross-contaminating. That's the actual word used. And some people who brought this up later were punished for bringing up that idea, because it's the Spanish flu. It's not America flu. Yeah, politics and people losing face, or people being held accountable for doing something they were told not to do by a lot of ancient and now current knowledge of how to treat animals. Okay, well, where did this where did this come from? It's a virus from pangolin. And what happened later? We ended up with the virus that attacked the planet and did a lot of damage and fucked up our economies and screwed everybody over and made a lot of you crazy, including me, because a bunch of animals were at the Wuhan market, and you can actually see pictures and videos of pangolins and bats up in the rafters and everything pooping and peeing and sneezing and coughing up stuff everywhere, with pigs and chickens and whatever. Every animal that's listed as having some virus that attacks them that's similar was in one of the photos and two videos I found at one time. And as the last time I checked, which was a year ago, they hadn't been erased. The evidence is sitting right there to look at. That is the situation you do to create a weaponized virus. Because the lab can't do it, because the lab is too clean and careful. To make a true catastrophe, you just have to introduce one thing: shitty, horrible conditions. Well, it's related to the disease that attacked the United States and everywhere else recently. Yeah, because it's its granddad. One of the animals that could have provided some of the genetic information. And the thing is, people are like, well, it has to be one or the other. No, it could be one other, could be a dozen, could be one or two. All viruses mutate to have the effect of continuing through and continuing to infect. And they will diversify into other animals, whether you like it or not. And to reduce it or eliminate the spread and possible mutation, you keep them away from each other as much as possible. And the Wuhan wet market did the opposite. And this also happened, hypothetically, in the United States to cause what we now call the Spanish flu. Or not. Most of the reports I read about it when I was trying to look it up years ago were people saying this in their own diaries or a little book they put up, or, you know, not deathbed confessions, but acknowledgement that that was the most likely it. And evidence that some of these people were shut up or even threatened, possibly even killed, to keep it from being spread, because it made us look bad. Now I'm going to bring up the politics again, which you should be wary of because I obviously have a bias. But I'm telling you I have. Do you understand, for the last probably more than 50 years, probably 100 years, all of you have been lied to accomplish some kind of goal, and you may not know what it is, and I sure as hell don't know exactly. But it looks like what we're going through now. An attempt to soft control and take over an entire country because a gaggle of you are frustrated, and people have weaponized your frustration and turned it into approval. This story was bullshit 2 years ago because we don't have any further information. It came out of China. Maybe it's bullshit from that. But the point is, take it with a grain of salt or a frickin' brick. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. I'm trying to help you. Please understand that.